Welcome, everyone. My name is Drew Stennett. I'm the Content Marketing Manager here at Right Side Up, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today for this webinar, all about getting set up and managing a successful product launch on Amazon. If you aren't familiar with Right Side Up, we are a marketplace of growth marketing specialists who have helped more than 400 VC-backed tech companies hit their goals. We cover virtually all paid channels, SEO, CRO, email marketing, analytics, and much more. And today we are hearing from e-commerce expert Matt Altman on everything you need to know about perfecting a cost-effective launch on Amazon. I'm pleased to introduce Matt, who's the head of our Amazon department here at Right Side Up. Matt is a seasoned e-commerce entrepreneur with over $35 million in sales himself. He's helped countless businesses scale across a variety of third-party marketplaces, including Amazon, Walmart.com, Thrive, Instacart, and others. In this presentation, Matt will hit on the pre, during, and post-launch phases of your Amazon campaign, addressing everything you need to know from tech stack recommendations to ranking maintenance and much more. Before I turn it over to Matt, I just have two quick housekeeping items that I want to mention. First, we love questions. Please submit yours throughout the session using Zoom's Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. We'll plan to address as many of these questions as we can in the last 20 minutes or so of our time together. Second, we are recording this webinar. I'll send an email out in the next few days with both the recording and the slide deck, so you can reference this later on or share it with friends or people you think might benefit from this session. That's everything from me. So Matt, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. Today, we're going to go through how we kind of approach launches of new products on Amazon. These tactics really can be kind of used on products that you're relaunching as well, and we'll kind of take some notes on the subtle differences between those. So today, we're going to go over kind of the pre-launch selection, which is where we're really choosing the keywords, the competitors that we're going to go against, and how relevant we are for just our general sales channel. We're then going to go through what we do to make sure you get organic rankings and indexing as quickly as possible, how you generate that traffic to increase those rankings, and any type of social coupons or traffic that may come into play. And then we're going to go into kind of our post-launch maintenance phase and how we manipulate either through our outside traffic or on-channel ads to ensure that we keep those keyword rankings that we work so hard for. So the big thing, which is where everything gets started, if you really mess this up, you're not going to have a good time launching on Amazon. It really comes down to ensuring that you're selecting the right keywords that are going to drive sales for your product at the end of the day. And then figuring out those competitors that do perform well for them, how we're going to mirror them and match the inputs that they're getting. And then how we're going to go ahead and get some reviews while we're doing all of this. So when you're selecting keywords, there's three big things that we look for. One is, are you relevant for those keywords? Really, that just means, are we going to get sales for it? Is the product that's currently getting sales for that keyword very similar to our product, or at least close enough that we could steal some of those sales away? The next is sales driving, which really kind of means, where is it at in the funnel? Is it a discovery keyword where people are clicking into 10 products and then they're searching again and a more narrowed down keyword before they make those purchases? Or are they searching this keyword and then instantly buying like the top 3 items that they're seeing? And then the last one is really kind of our market fit and how we're going to squeeze our way into these certain categories and how those keywords get affected because of that. So internally, we use basically 3 reports when we're looking through all of this data. The first one is Data Dive. This is a product that actually is built on the back end of Helium 10. So you do have to have a Helium 10 extension to use it, but it does a lot of your kind of competitive and keyword research for you and gives you a really good starting base. We used to do this, a very similar process manually in-house. Took anywhere from 5 to 7 hours for a single product. With this, it gives you kind of that initial base in less than 5 minutes. So really speeds up the process as a whole. The next one is Ecom Analytics. really this one is just kind of a bonus. You don't need this. It actually just aggregates brand analytics data from Amazon over time periods for you. So you can manually download these yourself if you want to go through that process and not pay for the software. But we do prefer the software just for ease of use, and it's very low cost, I think less than $20 a month. And then the last thing that we use is the new search query performance report, which if you are a registered brand on Amazon, you do have access to this. A lot of people have never really looked at this or kind of interpreted the data, but it does tell us really all of the conversion metrics of every single keyword and how your product is doing for those keywords, as well as competitors' products. So the first thing that we really start with when we're looking for a keyword list is searching what would be our main keyword. So we go ahead and do that on Data Dive. This is actually a Data Dive spreadsheet. It spits out a Google Sheet that kind of shows you all of the products that are appearing for that keyword. And then down below this, it shows all of the keywords and how these products are ranked for them. It gives you some quick facts on just, hey, do they have outlier keywords? So this will let you know, like a brand like Quest, they have 53 outlier keywords. I guarantee all of those outliers, which basically means they're the only ones that are ranking for that keyword, are going to be Quest branded terms, and it produces 642,000 extra searches. So you can quickly see that they're getting all of this extra traffic, which is probably why they do 96,000 units versus some of these others that are right about the 30,000 unit level. So it allows you to quickly kind of see, how could we compete with these products? Where would we kind of fall in that line? And then really down below, what are those keywords that we're going to target to try and steal some of those sales away? So the first big thing that we look at once we're going down through those terms is, what is the relevancy for those keywords? So easily we can look through that list that Data Dive puts out, and we can see, hey, out of the 20 products that we researched for the keyword keto snacks, 17 of them were ranking for it. That basically means that it's highly relevant. We probably want to try and rank for that keyword as well. There are a lot of other factors that go into this. One of the big ones that we look at is conversion rate and click-through rate. So really this kind of goes back to that, where are they at in that process of actually making those purchases. So we usually look for at least a 1% click-through rate and usually a 10% or greater conversion rate. We do try and keep it on the higher end of that 10% as well. So most of the time for fast moving categories, we're pushing up towards 16 to 20% conversion rates for the top sellers through brand analytics to basically select those keywords. The next thing that we're doing is actually manually performing a lot of these searches. So even though these products may be ranking for the keyword keto snacks, they may not actually be super relevant. They may just rank for it naturally because they sell so much on other keto search terms. So we'll go through and look through, make sure, hey, like the first 10 items that are there, my product would fit on a shelf with those products. If you aren't there, then we do a little bit deeper check and we see, hey, is there anyone else that's selling a similar product to ours that is actually on this first page of search results? And if not, can we go ahead and conquer that search term? Most of the time we'll find out that you can't. Usually you aren't reinventing anything on Amazon. There's already products that are selling that are very similar to yours. So it's probably not a keyword worth going after. The next big thing is those sales driving factors. So really we look at, what is that search intent? On big keywords like keto snacks, you'll actually see that the conversion rate is very low. It's 3 to 4% give or take on any given day for the top 3 performing products for that term. Basically what that's showing us is it's a very broad keyword, obviously, but it's also someone that's just kind of getting their nose wet and looking for, what are my keto snacking options? If you take that a step further and you're looking at keto snacks for women, that keyword actually has around a 12 to 15% conversion rate, which would be one that we would want to go after. And then we're looking, does our product actually fit into that specific market? Does it speak to that audience? And then really branded keywords as well, kind of like you saw with Quest on those outlier keywords. We'll probably never ever rank for any Quest terms unless we are Quest. So basically we eliminate all of those from the beginning. We do that very easily by actually scraping the entire category of snacks through Keepa, and then just deduping all of the brand names out of our lists. It's something that I definitely recommend everyone do, because on Amazon, the brand names are all over the place. You'll definitely know the bigger brands that are in grocery stores or big box stores, but there's so many just kind of one-off brands. You never really know what is a brand name, and that can actually get you into some trouble on Amazon if you do start putting that into your listing. The next thing that we look at when we're really selecting these keywords for that initial launch is sales volume. So we want to see weekly sales of at least 90. The big reason behind this is if it's not producing at least 90 sales, you're just not going to see enough revenue and growth across the longer tail keywords as well to go ahead and make up the cost of launching for that keyword. Usually the top converting person gets about 30% of the sales for the keyword if you're in that number 1 or 2 position. So with 90 sales per week, we're basically averaging between 25 to 40 sales per week if we are able to go ahead and grab those top positions. There are some other strategies where you can go after longer tail terms that only produce like 10 to 20 sales per week, but you're going to have to stack a lot more of those keywords together to make sure that you're getting the velocity that you need for that overall category. So we usually prefer to just go for these bigger ones out of the gate. It's less work. It may cost a little bit more upfront, but your overall results are going to be a bit better. And then we go down to conversion rate as the last factor once we're looking at these items. What you'll see, and kind of the item that we'll be reviewing here later, we saw a arbitrage for this specific product, which is why we launched it. We noticed that a bunch of people were searching for a product very similar to this. And through brand analytics data, we saw that there was very high click-through rates across products, but almost a 0% conversion rate. So we basically made a product for this specific search because there was enough volume there, and then really looked at how our conversion rates would fare after that. The next big thing is once we really have all of this kind of documented, we're picking about 10 to 15 keywords that we really want to go after. We're looking at our competitors. So for this, what we really want to do is find out where are most of their sales coming from. Most of Amazon is an 80-20 rule, like most of their sales will come from 5 to 6 keywords. The rest, they may pick up onesie, twosie sales every week, but it's not going to make a huge difference at the end of the day. So we're manually pulling every single keyword that our top competitors are ranking for. This also involves looking at backlinks. So if you take the link to the listing and put it into an SEO tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, you can see, are they getting a lot of traffic from blogs? Are they on top 10 lists for keto snacks, different things along those? And how are we going to go ahead and compete with that extra traffic that we're getting? And then the big one that we use, and I recommend for everyone, is we pull all of their reviews with Helium 10. We look through the negative things that people have been saying, and we make sure that we're calling out those pain points most of the time in our images, because a lot of people don't even make it down to the bullet points or descriptions on mobile anymore. But we're also going ahead and adding them there as well for desktop users. So once we've kind of done all of our research, we're going to go into our launching phase, which is where we're looking into how many sales do we need to do per day, how are we going to generate that traffic to produce those sales, how are we going to discount our product to make sure that we're still getting reviews, because Amazon does block reviews at a certain discount rate. Usually if it's greater than a 30% discount, they won't allow that customer to leave a review. And then really figuring out what are those key algorithm inputs that we need to make sure we're including to kind of match what the top sellers are doing. So the first thing that we do is look at our ranking planner, which we'll go over here in a second. It really just shows those keywords that we're going after, what our target metrics are on page views, add to carts, and sales for the day. how we're going to basically teach Amazon that our product should be ranked for this. I refer to it as algo fluffing because we're basically giving the algorithm the inputs that it wants through Amazon ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, things like that to make sure that we're getting the right numbers. And then for really how are we maintaining all of this once we're fully ranking. So we use Data Dive as well as the Search Query Report to put together our ranking planners. There will be a Google Sheet that you guys will get after this that kind of shows you how to put all of this together. But basically what it looks at is what is the total search volume for that keyword? Really, how many competitors are we competing against for that keyword? How many add to carts do you need? How many giveaways or basically sales do you need per day to go ahead and rank for that keyword? And then we work that backwards to figure out the metrics. The big thing that a lot of people don't look at that is highly, highly relevant when it comes to Amazon is finding keywords that no one has in their title. Amazon holds the title basically at the highest SEO kind of relevancy. So title most of the time is like 60 to 80% of what you'll rank for. So if you can find like here, keto snacks, 0 carbs, no sugar, it gets 21,000 searches, but no one has it in their title. If we add that exact match term into our title and get barely any sales behind it, you don't even need 7 because it is exact match and no one else has it, like 1 a day for 2 or 3 days, you'll usually always rank within the top 5 organically. So we do want to make sure we're targeting a lot of these that others aren't including in their content just to kind of help build ourselves up a bit more. And then making sure that we're going ahead and still hitting those sales and add to carts per day. To make sure that we're hitting those sales and add to carts per day, we do a lot of different things. The 2 big ones that I highly recommend are our social coupons and price discounts. We do a lot of influencer as well and vine stacking. Each of these does have its ups and downs. They usually aren't as guaranteed sales as the other 2, but you can still use them to kind of help on the back end. So whenever we do any type of launch, we always set up social promo codes. This is something that is a Seller Central exclusive. So if you're on Vendor Central, we usually just do clippable coupons there. But the big thing that a social promo coupon does is it actually has a box that you check when you're making it that you can share that influencer code with Amazon associates. So this image off to the right is basically what appears when you log into the Amazon Associates login. So if I was an influencer that was pulling items, it would go ahead and show me all of the items that have coupons on them that day, that week, or whatever. And then they can grab those links and go and promote your products. So it's basically sourcing a bunch of influencers for you. Usually on these, you do have to go pretty deep on the discount to make sure that you're getting picked up by enough influencers. Like recently we did one that was 50% off. It ended up pushing about 4,000 sales in a little over a week and a half. So they can move a lot of volume. But we almost always put them kind of at our break-even pricing with the coupons. So would definitely recommend that. These will boost your velocity very quickly if they get picked up by some of these bigger influencers. But at the end of the day, you'll usually always get at least 100 to 200 sales out of this type of promo. The next big one that we always launch with is price discounts. So this is your clippable coupons on Vendor and Seller Central. Really, the biggest thing here is just increasing that click-through rate from search. When you're a new product, you're going to have low reviews. You're going to be further down the page. We're paying a premium for those ad spots at the top. So we want to make sure people are clicking through. The big thing that these do for you is obviously that call out, like you're seeing here, extra 25% off. But it also increases interaction on your product page, which is something that we'll go over here in a minute that you really want to get as much of as possible. So by actually clicking through to the listing and then clicking that little checkbox next to the coupon, you're earning bonus points on Amazon's end for basically walking through that purchase funnel. Usually when we launch with these, we see about a 10 to 14% increase in clicks versus when we don't launch with them. And then we are doing a lot of influencer outreach as well. The big thing here that we're really looking for is not really sales from these influencers, but user generated content. So we try and get about 10 to 15 user generated videos that we could go ahead and add to our listings. We add them to our image stack. We add them down below to videos related to this product, just to make sure that we're keeping others off of our product page, because competitors can kind of have their videos come in there. And then we're also adding them on competitors' pages as well to try and get some traffic over to us. We do spend against these videos on sponsored brand video ads as well, just to help with those click-through rates, especially when you're targeting like keto snacks for women. We're going to make sure that we're showing a woman like this holding our product, and that way we're increasing that click-through rate and speaking to that specific audience. A lot of times when we are running something like this, we'll have, even outside of these 10 to 15 videos, we'll cut them down into like little shorter snippets with call outs in between the videos, and make 40 to 50 different variations to ensure that we have a video or sponsored brand ad that is talking specifically to that specific search, and hopefully increasing those click-through rates. The next big thing that we do is Vine stacking. So Vine is available to anyone that's brand registered. There is a fee behind it. I think it's like a few $100s on Seller Central, on Vendor Central. It can vary. You might have free Vine coupons, or you might have to pay for them. But what we do is we create a bunch of different listings for products. So like the item that I was just showing you, we sold that as a single pack, a 4-pack, a 12-pack, a 24-pack, and so on. The end goal was actually varying them all into one listing once we were up and selling them. But at the beginning, we went ahead and kept them all separate, because you can enroll each of those products into Vine separately. So we ended up, we had 3 flavors and 4 different size variants. Basically, you got 360 to 400 reviews out of those with Vine, which is amazing. And those reviews do come pretty quickly because you can pre-plan these. So as long as you keep your listings unvariated, you can hide the listing so that no one sees it. You can submit the product to Vine. All of those Vine units will go out to those Vine influencers. And then once you start seeing reviews get posted to the product page, you can go ahead and launch those products. So that way you aren't launching with 0 reviews. Once we do sell our products for a while, we usually eliminate the lesser selling variations of these items. So we actually got rid of the 1s and 4-packs. They weren't selling as well. It was kind of just a trial to see if we could get new customers into the funnel. And now we only sell 12 and 24-packs. So when we do that, we go ahead and hide those listings so that people can't go ahead and see those as like out of stock or discontinued on the listing. And when you hide them, you still do get to keep the reviews, which is great. So when we're launching, we're really looking at giving the Amazon algorithm what it wants. It's looking for basically 4 things at the end of the day. The first one is page interactions. The next is add to carts and wish list. 3 is product comparison, basically just going between different products within a category. And the 4th and biggest is ultimately buys. This basically follows any type of purchase funnel on e-commerce. You're getting someone to your page, they're interacting with them, you're retargeting them based on how long they're staying there. If they're adding to cart and then leaving, you're retargeting them in a different way. So very, very similar, and just making sure that we hit all of these points with the customers that are getting to our page so that Amazon thinks that our item is as relevant as possible for those keywords. So we help Amazon get these inputs through a variety of different ways. So for page interactions, what we do is we get basically people to go to our page, we get them to scroll the page, we get them to engage with images and videos, we get them to basically highlight text, click through reviews, different things like that. The main way that we're getting a lot of this to happen is through engaging content. So like image 2 or 3 and the main image stack might be like an arrow pointing to the right that says, make sure you click to the next image, just making sure that you're getting those key points through. We're making sure that in our videos or our last images in our image stack, we're calling out, hey, go down to our A+ content, check out other great products from our line. That way people are scrolling down, clicking through to your other listings potentially, but you're getting those page interactions. This is a pretty big one. You used to actually be able to rank for most keywords with just page interactions because Amazon has one of the best retargeting systems set up out there. And they were pretty certain if they could get you to a product page, they could get you to buy that product or a similar product within a pretty short time range. So these will get you to the first page for most keywords, but you'll need people to actually add to cart and buy the product to continue pumping those rankings up into the top 10 organically. The next biggest is add to carts. So your goal is really getting add to carts for the keywords that you're targeting. If people just end up on your listing at the end of the day, that search isn't actually tailored to a specific keyword. So we want to make sure that we're spending against our top keywords on Amazon ads or Google ads. And that way that keyword search is getting pushed through to Amazon. And when those add to carts happen, we're getting credit for them. And you want to make sure that you're always switching up these traffic sources. So you want social traffic, you want search engine traffic, you want traffic from competitors' pages that are also getting sales for that keyword, and then just general Amazon search. So to kind of help this along, we do a few different things. One is we run Facebook ads using ManyChat through Messenger. We provide basically mystery discount codes to users that ultimately have to click through to Amazon and enter that mystery coupon code, because the only way to actually know what the coupon code is worth is to actually add the product to your cart. So it's a great way to get people there. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll do 10 to 12 very deep discounted ones per day, 80 to 90% off, like 10 to 15 that are anywhere from 30 to 50, and then a bunch of like 5 to 15% off coupons. That way you're getting a wide variety of add to carts. You're also getting a wide variety of people that are purchasing versus not purchasing. Usually on those lower coupons, you have very little purchases happening, which is great because we don't want a ton of purchases with add to carts. We want to make sure that we're actually hitting the metrics that similar products have. The other way that we do this is through email. So we'll actually segment out a list and then slowly drip out a few hundred emails a day to our active list with basically the same type of coupon structure, and just make sure that we're getting enough clicks. The other big thing that kind of ties into that is product comparison interactions. So we really want people to click on the best seller for that specific keyword from an Amazon search, and then find our related sponsored product down below and click through. Amazon will rank you very highly for keywords if you start to convert on the page of the best seller for that specific keyword. So a lot of times we actually do this through ManyChat flows as well, where we're sending people directly to competitors' page and basically hoping that when we're running ads down below, they'll click through to our ads with the coupon codes. It works pretty well. And then the other way to do it is running sponsored product ads with really high top of product page modifiers, and just making sure that you win these top 3 or 4 placements on all of your top competitors based on the keywords that you've selected. So really, once you've started kind of processing all of that and you're pushing it through, we're kind of going into that middle launch, post-launch phase where we're looking at what does our ad structure look like? How does it develop over the time of the launch? How do we continue to spend after we're ranking and ensure that we keep getting the sales that we need? So we're going to go through the multiple ways that we continue to aggregate purchases. And this happens basically towards the tail end of the launch as well as post-launch. So the big thing that we're pushing a lot of, because it ranks you extremely well, is Google traffic. So what we actually do here is we push a lot of traffic from our Facebook ads to Google searches that we're running branded terms for. So say our item is a keto snack, or sorry, the keyword that we want to go for is keto snack and the brand is Quest. We would basically bid against the keyword Quest keto snack or keto snacks on Google Ads, and we would send our Facebook ad traffic to our Google ad traffic to make sure that we're getting enough people through that specific search. They would then click usually that top ad link, and then that keyword search will carry over to Amazon, and you'll get credit if they make that purchase with those keywords. What we've found is these are highly powerful searches. Usually like one direct buy from Google is worth about 5 to 7 buys directly on Amazon for that same keyword. So it can cut your ranking time down pretty extensively. It can also cut the cost down if you do perform well. So brands that have high just brand searches on Google in general, if you take a few weeks and kind of just push some of that budget towards Amazon from Google, it will help you organically quite a bit. The other big thing that we do is ensure that you're checking Google traffic for keywords. So use SEMrush or Ahrefs again to see what are people searching to find your product or your types of products on Google, because Google is more, I would say, of a broader discovery intent kind of search channel. So what's the most popular keyword search on Amazon may not always be what's the most popular on Google. So just make sure you're hitting those right metrics and that there might be some natural lift for those searches. And then how do we run PPC for these and continue post launch days? So really, once we've done all of this, we kind of figure out how many buys we need to continue to produce per day per keyword to make sure that we're hitting the volumes that we need. So the spreadsheet that we'll share over will have all of this, but this is roughly the estimate that we use. If you're using Amazon ads to rank and the keyword gets 3,500 searches or less per month, you need about 1 buy per day for 7 to 10 days to rank organically. And we set up our ad campaigns to make sure that we're hitting those metrics. So off the bat, you may not know what those metrics are specifically, how many ad clicks you need, what your conversion rate is, things like that. But very quickly, within a few days, you'll know that. And then we basically target our budget in single keyword campaigns for however many clicks we need that day to make sure that we're getting that 1 buy per day per that keyword. It can get very expensive on some of these that are super high search volume keywords, which is where outside traffic from social and Google comes into play, because it can help you cut that cost down. But a lot of times it's well worth it, because like the keyword keto snacks produces like 5,000 to 6,000 sales organically for the top ranking person, and you'd really only need to push about 50 to 60 sales in a week for that keyword to start ranking pretty highly organically. When we are breaking down this traffic, we do a few different things. Really, the biggest ones is social traffic to our canonical URL. So canonical URLs on Amazon are basically just amazon.com/dp/ and then you'll see 4 to 5 keywords / your ASIN. The main reason we do this is just for backlinks and site authority. The more of these that you have, the higher you'll naturally rank in Google as well for your Amazon listings. So like a great example of this to actually look at is vitamin C serum. If you search that in Google, True Skin Naturals will come up as the top result. And you'll also see that they're beating everyone else that sells vitamin C serums by about 12,000 backlinks. So they always organically rank very well on Google. They always organically rank very well on Amazon because of that. And the quicker you start building that, because it is a long-term process, it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half to start seeing an increase in traffic from those backlinks. It's just best to start right from the beginning. The other big thing that we do is making sure that we mix up the traffic. So we do buy a lot of different blog posts with different influencers. We also buy just general social links from these influencers as well. We use SEO Clerk for a lot of these. It's a lot of just very cheap micro task workers that run blog sites that will help kind of push this content out for you. So the next big thing that we do with this, once we're done with the social traffic, is really pushing for the top blogs. So when you search keywords on Google, usually the first listing that will come up for a product is organically is a link to an Amazon search for that product, or just directly to a listing. What we do is we scroll down through there and basically find blogs that are Amazon associates that are pushing to those same types of products. Usually you'll find one in the top 5 or 6 organic placements on Google for most of your keywords. And we'll just go ahead and start reaching out directly to those blog owners and basically offering to pay for those promotions on those sites so that we can go ahead and take some of that traffic. Because really what you'll find is a lot of products get a ton of sales from Google searches that no one really knows about. So unless you're kind of doing these other tactics, you'll just never catch up. The other big thing that we do to kind of speed this up, sometimes these blogs really won't reach out to you back or won't reach back to you or even kind of entertain getting paid to be put in their list. So we'll actually go ahead and put comments on their blog posts that link to our products from either our own blog accounts on whatever platform they're using, or we'll pay someone on SEO clerks to do that. That way you're still getting those high value backlinks on that blog. And then we'll go ahead and send our Facebook ads to a blog about that where they can read about the products and click through our link in the comments back to our product. And then Amazon will associate those keyword sales with that blog and start pushing you up organically more as well. So a lot of kind of residual payback that takes place like many months down the line. So for our campaign structure on every launch, this is what we usually recommend. We don't really venture off of this for about 20 to 30 days. Sometimes we do if the client has a very high budget and they just want to spend, but this is what we've found has kind of been the most efficient way to set things up. So from those initial keywords that we pick, usually it can be anywhere from 10 to 15. But sometimes we go up to 25 depending on the volume of the category. We set up exact match campaigns. A lot of times these are single keyword campaigns just to make sure we can ensure we're hitting our daily metrics by keyword each day a little bit easier. You can put them all into one campaign. It won't really matter too much. You'll just have to keep a closer eye on it and pull the data reports to make sure you're hitting your metrics. We then usually take whatever the suggested bid is and add 15% to it, and then we add 150% top of search modifier. The big thing that we really want here, day one from launch, is just getting as many clicks to our product page on those top keywords as we can so that Amazon can start to index us for those keywords. After that, we definitely start to look at what's actually converting and how we're going to pause and optimize keywords out from that. The next big thing that we do is we set up sponsored product attribute targeting campaigns. So we take those 15 to 20 keywords that we're targeting, we plug those keywords into ecom analytics or brand analytics, and then we download the top 3 best-selling items from brand analytics for the last 12 weeks. And those are the ASINs that we target. The main reason behind this is getting those page interactions from competitor pages. This is the best way to do it. And if that product is ranking for the keywords that you want to rank for, Amazon's going to see that and bump you up higher on those keywords. This usually is pretty cheap to do and the conversions can be pretty high. You can also bring in sponsored display targeting on these ASINs if you do see a high conversion rate against some of these competitors, but we do usually wait until about 20 to 30 days post initial launch. And then we go ahead and add that 150% page modifier bid. That way, these aren't appearing for search terms. So even though you are targeting ASINs, it will still show from this ad campaign on keywords that ASIN that you're targeting ranks for. So we want to try and eliminate as much of that as possible because we really want the association to these other products, not to the keywords that they're ranking for so much. And then the last one that we do is sponsored brand video. So we've tested this quite a bit. It doesn't actually help you increase organic rankings. So say you pushed 100 sales through sponsored brand video in a day, you really wouldn't see much of an organic rank increase for those keywords over the next few days. But what it does do is increases awareness of your brand into that category and those searches, which ultimately should lead to branded searches with those keywords and hopefully a click through. It also takes up competitor search space. So Amazon is getting fuller and fuller of ads every week. You want to try and get in as many of these placements as possible and just root those competitors out. The great thing about sponsor brand video is it's not pay per impression. Similar to normal sponsored product ads, you only pay on clicks. So you can get a ton of impressions, a ton of brand awareness, and not pay a dime, which is pretty awesome. So when we're going ahead and starting to optimize these ad campaigns, kind of middle of the launch and post-launch, we're looking for basically two things. What is our conversion rate and what is our impression share? So for conversion rates, brand analytics actually tells you the conversion share of every keyword for the top 3 products. So we want to make sure that we're matching at least somewhere in those top 3 continually through our ads. If we aren't, we'll start to downbid that keyword or pause it out entirely, because sometimes even having a keyword that converts at like 6 to 7%, but your top ranking competitors convert at 30% will actually kill your organic rankings for not only that specific keyword, but also other long tail keywords that have that keyword in it. So usually if it falls below 7% on a launch, we're pausing that keyword out. And then anything that is continuing to convert well, we're looking at our impression share, which basically means how often are we at the top of search. If we're below 40 to 50%, we're continuing to increase those until we see a diminishing conversion rate. If we don't ever see a diminishing conversion rate, then we go for as high of a impression share as we possibly can. So we'll keep bidding up day over day. Once you've done this enough, you'll kind of know when your organic rankings are going to start to hit. It's usually about 4 to 5 days after these conversion rates are matching those top sellers. And then we'll slowly start to pull back our bids and spend on keywords as we organically rank up and make sure that we're still holding those rankings. We'll check them daily. If we do see that we're dipping organically, we'll go ahead and bump up our budgets on those ad campaigns or increase our bids again to make sure we're getting those sales through. We use PackView for all of this because they actually have some rule sets that you can set up where, hey, if I'm ranked in the top 3, decrease my budget and my bids by this percentage. If I fall out of the top 3, increase my bids and budget for this campaign. So makes it very automated and hands off. But this can be done daily, manually, and it only takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes to look through this and either increase or decrease those bids and budgets. So the big thing that we see happen a lot on clients that come to us is they had a very successful kind of initial launch, but then things just kind of fell off after about the 45-day to 60-day mark. The main reason behind this is because Amazon has something they call the honeymoon period, where they basically give new products to the channel a boost to help them compete with legacy products on the channel. So the easiest way to look at that is for every sale that you would normally get for a keyword, it would count as 1 sale. When you're in your honeymoon period, it might be worth 4 or 5 sales. So you actually need less buys, add to carts, things like that to rank. And then after that initial period of 45 to 60 days, Amazon compares how you've done against those competitors. And if your numbers are matching, you'll continue to hold those ranks. If your numbers of conversions and add to carts haven't caught up, you'll actually start to lose your ranks pretty quickly. You can go from position 2 to position 50 overnight, and they just will never come back. So you do want to make sure that you're continually pushing as much as you possibly can and continually hitting those metrics that those top competitors are. So we kind of break this into 2 separate budgets. We have our always on campaigns, where for top keywords like keto snacks, we're always spending to make sure that we're hitting our daily sales number for that keyword, because there are so many long tail keywords that go into that one as a whole. We don't want to do anything to risk losing those other positions. And a lot of times we don't run this towards like a target a cost that's low. A lot of clients will come on and be like, we want like 10% or 15% target a costs. A lot of times you're actually hurting yourself and really limiting your sales. Like kind of these campaigns down here below, we're running these at about a 60 to 70% a cost, because we know as long as we can maintain those organic rankings, we're going to get about 6 to 7x the organic sales that we would if we wouldn't. So it does pay for itself. So always something that you'll want to test. And then you'll find there's a lot of keywords where you really won't get any residual sales by continuing to spend heavily on them once you're ranked. So we'll go ahead and use those pack view rules to pull those bids and spends back as much as possible, just to make sure that we're maintaining that organic ranking. And the second it starts to drop, we'll go ahead and start pumping those back up again. All of this can be kind of quantified through brand analytics and the search query report. But really, at the end of the day, the conversion rate doesn't change too much month over month, week over week for the keywords, unless it's something seasonal like Christmas or holidays. So you can kind of hard set these metrics and really hold your campaigns to it and look at these metrics maybe once every month, every couple months, and just make sure that you're still within those spectrums. As long as you continue to hit those metrics, you'll always stay ranked pretty high. So definitely spend away and make sure that those metrics stay. So that's really it for launching products on Amazon and kind of how we run through it. We'll go over kind of our services offerings. So outside of Amazon, we do actually offer services on Thrive, Instacart, Walmart, basically any other marketplace that you're selling on. The main difference between us is we kind of have an a la carte style where you're really paying for the scope of what that project is. So you could come on and work with us for just a single product launch out of your line of products. You could come on for complete account management and ad management, or break and choose those pieces that you want. You also get basically a subject matter expert that is yours and kind of more like your internal employee than an actual agency. And we do typically run anywhere from 5 to 10K, depending on which pieces you kind of build together for that package. Really, our bread and butter is like total account management. I would say 85 to 90% of our clients come on for that. So we're helping them with everything from product SEO optimizations, full ads management, outside traffic management, review strategies and generation, new product development, and really a lot of times fulfillment as well, and making sure that they're maximizing those strategies on Amazon. The other big thing that we've been doing here recently, which I don't know that many out there that are, is we're building customer databases and really looking at LTVs of items on Amazon, how we're acquiring and continuing to nurture those customers into repeat purchase customers. So yeah, if you have any questions on any of this stuff, let me know, but we'll go ahead and open up the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Matt. That was an incredible presentation. And I know I'm not alone in saying I'm going to have to watch this on demand at least 1 or 2 more times just to soak up all of the knowledge that you shared. We really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through all of this. We have a lot of questions, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing, which I think is a good segue, is we have a question confirming, can RSU manage all of the things that you've talked about? We heard you talk about blog features, mini chat, Google SEO, and other services to get started. Is this something that our team can help out with?
Yep. So anything mentioned today, we can help out with. That's kind of the other benefit of Right Side Up. If you don't know much about us, we're actually a collective of marketers that know basically a little bit of everything out there. So we would partner with people outside of our Amazon team directly to make sure that we're touching on all of those pieces.
Awesome. Another question that we got, how to know how many PCs to sell for ranking? What tool do you use to make Rank Planner?
Yeah, so really most of that data actually comes from brand analytics and search query reports, which are directly from Amazon. There are third-party tools like Ecom Analytics, which we mentioned, that breaks it down for you a little bit deeper. Helium 10 does this as well, and you can kind of figure out from there. But a lot of times, all of those are just rough estimates. You'll have to test it and then readjust 2 to 3 days in, depending on the results that you see.
Thank you so much. Another question we got says, hi, Matt, is the 45 to 60-day honeymoon phase after the listing is created or after inventory hits Amazon's warehouse for FBA? If it's after the listing is created, should we start manufacturer fulfill to make the most out of those first 45 to 60 days?
Yeah, so it is after the listing is created, but the way to fix that is by changing the available on date and release date of the product when you're creating the listing. So when you go through the process, whether in Vendor Central or Seller Central, it doesn't matter if you're using even flat files or the UI, there are basically three places where they'll ask for this kind of information. One will be the launch date of the product, the release date of the product, and the available on date. Just change all of those to like a year into the future, and that will actually stop your listing from going live. But it will create the listing so that you can print labels and things like that and get it into the system. And then once you are ready to take it live, you just change those dates back to whatever the day is that you want to take that actual listing live. And that will preserve that period until you actually switch those dates back to the present day.
Actually, from the same audience member, what advice do you have for brands that have been in market for over a year, but ranking has fizzled and or reviews are below 4 stars?
So the best thing that we usually recommend is relaunching the product fully, whether that's through a variation on the page. If you already have good reviews that are above a 4-star, we would usually just launch a variation on that page so you can restart that honeymoon period. If the rankings aren't that great, we'll actually usually just kill the product and restart fresh. A lot of times that just requires relabeling the product or creating a new ASIN or a new pack size, and then restarting fresh.
Awesome. Do you think lowering price drastically to rank and then increasing price works? This is what Kevin King recommends doing.
No, so we do not recommend that at all, mainly because what we've seen is one of the main ranking factors of Amazon is your price point compared to others in the channel. So as long as that price that you put it back up to is still in line with whatever the top seller's price point is, yes, you can do this. But a lot of times people will try and increase the prices beyond that, and you'll almost instantly start to lose your rankings. We usually use clippable coupons to drop the price because we want to preserve lightning deals, 7-day deals at the highest possible price point where price discounts can actually take that down. So if you sell your item for $20 normally, you're going to launch it at 15 for 7-day deals, lightning deals. For big events, you have to do at least 20% off. So it would drop that down to a $12 price point versus if we sold it for 20, put a $5 clippable on it, which doesn't actually affect the like sold price. It would only be 20% off of that $20 price range. So it would be 16. So we'd make $4 more on big event holidays.
I just cannot get over all the knowledge that you're sharing. The same attendee asks, is there any service that provides add to cart and page engagement for your products at a good price?
We would not recommend any of that. There used to be a bunch of services that did this. I would say it's all on Amazon's radar. You want real people that are your customers interacting, which is why we do things the way that we do. Most of the time, if you use one of those services, you'll get caught. If you Google Amazon reviews, actually today, you'll see the top news results are they subpoenaed 10,000 Facebook groups that were actually doing this as kind of a pay-to-play scheme. So stay as far away as possible from it.
Awesome. If you are just getting started with Amazon, how much budget should you allocate for paid advertising?
So that is a really hard one. It really depends on the category and how much volume is being pushed through it, where we've seen some recent products here that only have maybe 30 to 40,000 monthly searches across all of their keywords. You could launch there with $4,000 to $5,000 in budget. But like a recent launch that we did on keto products, we ended up spending $120,000 a month out of the gate on that one. So there's a huge variance. It really just depends on how competitive the category is and what the overall search volume is for that category.
Speaking of search volume, what are good search volumes to consider when you're selecting keywords?
So we don't look at search volumes for keywords. We look at sales volume. I don't really care if it gets 100,000 searches if it only produces 10 sales per month. A lot of times what you'll find is very direct long tail keywords will get like 500 to 600 searches per month, but they'll also get 150 to 200 sales, where maybe a keyword that has 20 to 30,000 searches, it's more of a discovery keyword, it's only getting 30 to 40 sales. So we do look at search volume as kind of just overlying how many searches is it getting, how many clicks am I getting from that, and how many conversions. But the main factor we look at is actual purchases, which brand analytics will tell you that.
This question is maybe also category or brand specific, but when the steps you've outlined today are all implemented correctly, what are the expectations a brand can see in terms of returns?
Yeah, so the product that we kind of had in some slides today, the keto wafer that we launched maybe 4 months ago now, you were doing about 1,700 to 2,200 units per day. So it's very effective when done correctly, but you'll actually know beforehand all of the numbers that you'll do once you're ranking, because brand analytics data tells you exactly how many conversions the top 3 people are getting. So we know the search volume for the keyword, we know the conversion share that the top 3 are getting, and then the click-through rates. So we can work all of those numbers backwards, and you can have a pretty good estimate, which the keyword planner or ranking planner that is in the spreadsheet that'll be shared over actually does all of that calculating for you. So it'll say, you'll need to spend this much to get this many sales for this keyword. This is your expected sales per week once you're ranking for that keyword. And most of the time you'll see on bigger keywords, you'll get 6 to 7x returns if you can maintain those top organic rankings.
Awesome. I think we'll probably close out with this question. And we still have many more, which I think is maybe a sign we need to do another Amazon webinar. But our final question of the day are, what are your thoughts on sites like Rebate Key, etc.?
So technically they aren't against Amazon's terms of service because they aren't asking for reviews, as long as you aren't doing nefarious things with those users. We would recommend staying away from them though, because most of those people on Rebate Key are also in all of these Facebook groups that just got subpoenaed. Like, there are people that literally do these types of things for a living. They bank on the credit card points and sell the items on Facebook Marketplace. If you get caught up in one of these sweeps, which Rebate Key doesn't really know what other groups these people are in or any of those other services that are offering sampling, you're risking your entire account going down. Like, even my personal account has actually been swept from Amazon. I can no longer make purchases on it because I was in some of these review groups just trying to figure out what people were doing a few years back. So it is highly dangerous, and I would say as far away as possible.
Wow, great insight. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
To everyone who attended our webinar today, thank you again so much. It was great to see the turnout, and I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. Just as a reminder, we did record this session, and we'll be sending that out over email sometime in the next few days, along with a link to the slide deck and the spreadsheet that Matt mentioned earlier in his presentation. Thank you all again for joining, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much.